I'm Charlie Munger. I'm 95 years old, and my time's running short. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. That's just reality. Before I go, I want to share lessons I wish someone had told me when I was where you're now young, driven, and stumbling into mistakes you don't even see coming. I've built a fortune, weathered 5 recessions, 3 tech booms, and countless market swings. I've seen empires rise and crumble, geniuses fail, and ordinary folks create legacies. After 95 years, I've learned one truth. Success isn't a mystery. It's just tough. Everyone's hunting for a magic trick, stock tips, business hacks, fast tracks to wealth. But there's no secret sauce. There are only principles. Basic, unglamorous principles most people ignore because they're tedious and demand discipline. These principles worked for me. They worked for my partner Sarah. And they'll work for you if you're wise enough to listen and persistent enough to follow through. So, here's what I wish I'd known at your age: real, hard-earned wisdom, not fluff. The kind that cost me decades to learn. Time short for me, but you've got plenty. That's your greatest asset. First, where are you watching from? Drop your city below. I want to know who's hearing a 95-year-old talk about discipline and missteps. And if you're not subscribed, do it now. We're building a community here, people who think clearly, act smart, and dodge the dumb mistakes that ruin most. No hype, just truth from someone who's lived it. Hit subscribe, and let's dive in. I'm short, probably sharper than most have my age. But intelligence isn't why I'm successful. I know brilliant people who've crashed and burned. Smarts are like fuel. They're useless without direction. What matters is how you think and what you choose to ignore. At your age, I thought success meant knowing everything. Now, I know it's about knowing what to skip. It's about avoiding traps. I've made it my mission to sidestep the common ways people fail. Show me a bad business model, and I'll steer clear. Point out where others go wrong, and I'll build my life to avoid those pitfalls. Sarah and I didn't win by being the smartest. We won by dodging disasters. Here's a boring truth that made me millions. Discipline. The real money's in sticking to your plan, not chasing every shiny idea. In my 20s, I watched others jump on trends that soared, and it stung to miss out. But for every win I skipped, 10 others tagged. Nobody brags about their flops. Sarah and I learned this. The biggest gains come from holding steady. We've owned businesses for 40 years, not because we're stubborn, but because they're solid. Selling them would have been foolish. Discipline compounds like wealth, like wisdom. It's brutal at first, but it gets easier, and the payoff grows. If I could tell my younger self one thing, it'd be this: stretch your timeline. Want success by 30, aim for 50. Want to master something in a decade? Give it 25. Compounding takes time, real. Life-changing compounding happens over decades. The younger you are, the more time you've got, but the less discipline you feel. Learn it now. Hold steady. Let time do the heavy lifting. Let's talk about money. Not investments yet, but money itself. Most people get it wrong. They think it's about earning more. It's not. It's about wanting less. I've lived in the same modest house for 60 years. Not because I'm frugal, though I am, but because I don't need more. I drive a simple car, wear plain clothes. People say, "Evelyn, you're worth millions. Why live like this?" My answer: why not? A bigger house means more upkeep, more hassle. A fancy car means more headaches. More stuff doesn't make you happier. It makes life messier. After 95 years, I've learned this. Beyond a certain point, money doesn't buy joy. It buys complexity, more choices, more demands, more noise. The real trick is knowing what enough looks like. For most, it's way less than they think. Once you've got enough to cover your needs: shelter, food, Security chasing more is just a game. And games like that exhaust you. I knew a guy who made a fortune in real estate. Millions. But he was miserable. Always worried about losing it, taxes, lawsuits, market dips. The money didn't free him. It trapped him. Here's what I wish I'd known earlier. Define your enough and stop there. Don't let your lifestyle bloat just because your bank account does. The moment your spending matches your income, you're stuck running in place. Live below your means, way below. That gap between what you earn and what you spend. That's freedom. That's where discipline thrives. Where smart choices happen. Now, let's talk staying sharp. People ask how I'm still quick at 95. Simple. I never stop learning. Sarah and I, we're knowledge sponges. We read everything: books, reports, history, science. Not just for curiosity, but because the world never stops changing. Stop learning and you're obsolete. The reason we've stayed relevant. We keep improving, not smarter, but better. We study our mistakes, other people's mistakes, and we adapt. We don't cling to old ideas just because they're ours. Obsolete thinking kills businesses, investments, dreams. What worked in 1990 won't work today. And what works now won't work in 2060. Here's what I wish I'd known at your age. Your education never ends. Not after school. Not after your first job. Every day. Go to bed a little wiser than when you woke up. Read broadly psychology, economics, biology, anything. The best ideas come from connecting dots across fields. I call it a mental framework, understanding how the world really works, not just your slice of it. That's where breakthroughs happen. Learning compounds, just like money. Today's insight builds on yesterday's, and in 20 years, you'll see patterns others miss. Avoid traps others fall into. Not because you're a genius, but because you've been curious longer. Mistakes. I've made them all. Lost money I shouldn't have. Trusted the wrong people. Chased dead ends. But those mistakes were my best teachers. Here's what young people miss. Mistakes aren't failures. They're tuition. Each one, if you study it, sharpens your judgment. The goal isn't to avoid every mistake, that's impossible. It's to make affordable ones and learn fast. Sarah and I missed big opportunities, businesses we could have bought, deals we passed on. Those hurt more than the losses, but both taught us. When we skipped a tech startup that became a giant, we learned to spot potential earlier. When we overpaid for a retailer, we learned value matters. Study your mistakes. Write them down, own them. That's how you grow. Let's talk about relationships. Because at 95, I can tell you they matter more than any dollar I've ever earned. I've been married to the same man for 65 years. I've kept friends for decades. Those bonds are worth more than my portfolio. Money fades, health fades. But good relationships, they endure if you nurture them. Here's what I wish I'd known at your age. The people you choose to surround yourself with shape your life. It's not just a saying, it's truth. Spend time with negative people. You'll turn sour. Hang with dreamers who dodge responsibility. You'll start slacking. Surround yourself with folks chasing fleeting trends. You'll never find peace. You absorb the traits of your circle, whether you mean to or not. Choose wisely. Sarah and I have a rule. We only work with people we respect and enjoy. If we wouldn't share a meal with them, we won't share a deal. Life's too short for bad company, no matter how lucrative the offer. Relationships are like investments. Neglect them, they wither. Show up for people. Call them back. Be there when it counts. I see young folks so focused on their hustle, they let friendships fade. They skip gatherings, ignore texts, always too busy. Years later, they're successful but alone. Trust me, Success without people to share it with feels empty. Treat your relationships like your best asset. Be generous with your time. Loyal without keeping score. The second you start tallying favors, I did this, what did they do? It's over. At 95, I don't recall every deal I close, but I remember every laugh with friends, every late night talk with Sarah, every moment with my family. That's what lasts. Now. About work. I still show up to the office at 95. Not for the money, I don't need it, but because I love what I do. Here's a secret nobody tells you. Find work that feels like play, and it's not work at all. Too many pick careers for the wrong reasons: status, cash, or someone else's expectations. Then they spend decades grinding through jobs they tolerate or hate. What a waste. I have 3 rules for work, and I wish I'd known them at 25. First, don't sell anything you wouldn't buy. I've never pushed a product I didn't believe in or backed a deal I doubted. Compromise your values for a paycheck, and you're done not financially, but as a person. Second, don't work for people you don't respect. I've walked away from big opportunities because the people didn't align with my principles. Every time, it was worth it. Working with folks you disdain is soul-draining. Third, only work with people you like. Sarah and I have partnered for years because we click, we think alike, laugh together, trust each other. That makes tough days easier and victories sweeter. Check those boxes: integrity, respect, enjoyment, and you'll never dread a Monday. Your reputation. It's your most fragile asset. Build it slowly, lose it in a flash. One bad move can erase decades of trust. Guard it fiercely. It determines who works with you, who trusts you, who opens doors. Money can be remade. Reputation, not so much. And don't chase titles or status. Chase mastery. Get so good at something valuable that opportunities find you. Excellence is rare, and the world pays for it. Here's a hard truth about life. Your reputation is everything. I've spent 95 years building mine, and one slip can undo it all. It takes decades to earn trust, but a single bad call can shred it. Guard it like gold. It decides who wants to work with you, who believes in you, who hands you chances. Money can bounce back. Reputation takes longer to mend. Don't chase titles or promotions just to impress others. Chase skill. Get so good at something useful that people seek you out. Excellence is scarce, and the world rewards those who master it with rare dedication. Now, let's cut through the noise about success. The simple way usually beats the fancy one. But smart folks love complexity. They think it makes them look clever. I've seen it 1,000 times. A solid business starts simple. Then someone adds layers: new products, risky loans, trendy strategies, and it collapses. Sarah and I keep it plain. We buy businesses we get, run by people we trust, at prices that work. No tricky derivatives, no over-leveraging, just steady, dull companies that pay off year after year. People call us old school. Evelyn, what about modern investing tricks? I know them, but they don't suit us. Complexity adds weak spots: more to break, more to misjudge. Simple systems last. Clever ones crack. Here's what I wish I'd known earlier. Don't overcomplicate. Stick to what you understand. If a choice feels too tangled, pick the straightforward path. Doubt anyone who makes easy things sound hard. They're either lost or trying to confuse you. Saying no is an art I've mastered. I've turned down more deals than I've taken. Not because I'm scared, but because most opportunities are traps in disguise. Young people don't get this. Every yes means no to something else. The real question isn't, is this good? But is this the best use of my time? Sarah and I passed on countless ventures some sort. Most flopped. When people ask, don't you regret missing that hit? I say no. We dodged 100 failures too. The trick to life and investing is knowing what to ignore. There's no end to what you could chase. Your job is to focus on the few things that count and let the rest go. I've made more by sitting still than by leaping. Inaction gets underrated. It feels lazy, but it's smart. People trade, start, chase trends and lose. Doing nothing can be your best move. It's tough, though, especially when everyone's moving and you feel stuck. Practice saying no. Get comfy with it. As you grow, opportunities pile up, and most are distractions. Don't apologize, just say no. At 95, I'm still here because I've cared for myself. Not fanatically, just consistently. Here's what I wish I'd known. Your health is irreplaceable. You can rebuild wealth, restart a career, but you only get one body, one mind. I see young people burning out, skipping sleep, eating junk, never moving, thinking they're invincible. They plan to fix it later, but later hits hard. You don't stay sharp by accident. Eat decently, move daily, rest well, manage stress. Nothing flashy, just steady habits. Health compounds to the good choices now pay off for decades. Bad ones cost you later. I'm not saying live like a saint, but respect your limits. Push too far and something breaks. Well, it's useless if you're too sick to enjoy it. At 95, I'm grateful I can still think. Work, that's my real riches, built on choices from 50 years ago. People ask if I have regrets at 95. Sure, I do plenty. But here's the twist. They're not what you'd expect. Most aren't about what I did. They're about what I didn't. Chances I was too cautious to grab. Relationships I let drift. Risks I should have taken. There's a deal, Sarah, and I skipped years ago. A small company we thought was overpriced. Turned out to be a gold mine. Maybe worth billions. That stings, not for the cash, but because I hate being off the mark. Still, I don't regret the friends I kept, the books I read, the marriage I nurtured, or the curiosity I fed. Those weren't missteps, they were my best moves. Here's what I wish I'd known earlier. You'll regret the things you skip more than the things you try. Fear stops us, fear of failing, of looking dumb, of stepping out. That fear costs you, not right away, but over decades. You end up wondering about the life you didn't live. So take the leap. Ask the question. Make the move. If it flops, at least you'll know. Better than a lifetime of what if. I've had a good run, better than I deserved. I've made money, sure, but the real wins are the friendships, the health, the work I love, the life that felt full. None of it came from being a genius. It came from sticking to a few plain principles, even when they felt outdated. Here's what I hope you take. Be steady. Learn every day. Own your mistakes. Live below what you earn. Pick your people with care. Do work that matters. Keep it simple. Say no a lot. Guard your health. And don't wait to live time's the one thing you can't stretch. At your age, you've got a lot of it. Don't squander it on nonsense. Don't chase empty wins or hollow status. Figure out you're enough and build round that, not too much, not too little, just right. The goal isn't to die loaded, it's to live well. Go to bed each night knowing you spent your day on what counts. Look back at 80, 90, 95, and think, yeah, I got it right. I'm not flawless. I've stumbled more times than I can count, lost cash, misjudged people, wasted years. But those stumbles taught me. Young folks think mistakes are dead ends. They're not, their lessons. Everyone you learn from is a down payment on better choices. The real losses weren't the money I dropped. It was the opportunities I missed. Sarah and I talk about this. Passing on a startup that exploded hurt more than a bad investment. But both shaped us. When we overpaid for a factory, we learned to value cash flow. When we skipped a tech trend, we learned to spot timing. Study your flops. Write them down. Face them head on. That's how you sharpen up. Most people don't grow because their pride blocks the way. They make excuses, point fingers, deny the truth. Kill that ego. Say, I messed up. Here's why. Here's my fix. Then follow through. Sarah and I do a post-mortem on every loss, what went wrong. What we missed. What signals we ignored. We jotted down, or it fades. Treat your mistakes like medals. Review them. Thank them, they're making you stronger. Let me tell you about time. It's the one thing I can't buy back at 95. I've spent it on deals, on learning, on people. And looking back, I'd trade a chunk of my wealth for more of it. Here's what I wish I'd known at your age. Time's your edge. You've got plenty now, but it slips fast. I see young folks rushing, chasing deadlines, grinding for the next raise, skipping life for a future they assume will wait. It won't. I worked hard, built a life, but some days I wish I'd paused, more watched a sunset, played with my kids, just sat with friends. Time compounds in ways money can't. The moments you invest in our relationships, health, growth pay off when you're my age. Waste it, and you're left with regrets. So slow down, breathe. Do the small things that matter. They add up. Work's been my joy, but it's taught me this. Passion beats pressure. I still show up because I love the challenge, not the paycheck. Too many pick jobs for the wrong reasons: prestige, cash. Family push and end up hating 40 years. What a shame. I've got 3 rules I wish I'd followed from the start. 1. Never sell what you would earn by. I've turned down deals that felt off my gut knew better. Cross that line, and you lose yourself. Not just money. 2. Don't work with people you don't admire. I've walked from big wins because the team didn't fit. Every time. It saved my soul. 3. Team up with folks you enjoy. Sarah and I thrive because we get each other same humor, same values. Tough calls get lighter. Good times better. Nail those: honesty, respect. Fun and work feels like a gift. Money's a tool, not a trophy. I've lived simply, same house, same car for decades. Not because I'm tight, but because I don't need more. People ask, Evelyn, why not a mansion? Why? More space, more problems. A jet, more stress, past a point. Money buys headaches, not happiness. I knew a guy who hit it big tens of millions and spent his life guarding it. Taxes, lawsuits, spoiled kids, he was a prisoner. Here's the lesson. Know you're enough. Once you've got security, stop chasing. Don't let your lifestyle balloon with your bank account. Live well below it. That gap, that freedom lets you think straight. Decide smart. And wait out storms. Patience has been my secret weapon. The big wins came from sitting tight, not jumping. In my 30s, I watched others cash in while I held back at burned. But for every success I missed, 10 failed. Sarah and I learned the real money's in waiting. We've held stocks for decades, not out of loyalty, but because they're rock solid. Selling would have been dumb. Patience builds like interest, it's torture at first. Then a habit, triple your timeline. Want mastery by 40, plan for 60. Compounding takes decades. And youth has time, but no patience. Learn it now. Sit still. Let time lift you. At 1:11 p.m. PDT on October 21st, 2025. I'm still here, still sharp, still grateful. My advice, be deliberate, learn daily, cherish your people, keep it simple. Times taking use at 1:12 p.m. PDT on October 21st, 2025. I sit here, 95 years old, feeling the weight of a life well lived. This is my last chapter, and I want to leave you with the core of it all. I've shared my stumbles, my wins, my lessons, hard-earned truths from a long road. Money's come and gone, health's held on. But what sticks are the people, the moments, the quiet victories. Here's what it boils down to. Life isn't about piling up riches or trophies. It's about building something, real connections, wisdom, a legacy that outlasts you. I've seen brilliance fade, fortunes vanish, and dreams die from haste or pride. I've also seen ordinary folks, like me, rise by sticking to the basics: patience, learning, integrity. If I could whisper one thing to my younger self, it'd be this: don't rush the journey, savor it. The detours, the waits, the mistakes, they're the meat of it. I've missed chances I'll never get back, but I've gained a clarity that's worth more. Sarah, my partner through it all, taught me that my family, my friends, they're my real wealth. So here's my final word. You're young. You've got time more than you know. Don't squander it on what fades: status, stuff, shortcuts. Invest in what lasts. Be kind to yourself and others. Learn from every fall. Say yes to what matters. No to the noise. Live so that at 95, like me, you can look back and say, I did it my way, and it was enough. I'm signing off now, but my hope is this: you take these lessons, build your life, and pass them on. The clock's ticking, but the story is yours to write. Make it good. Goodbye. And thank you for listening.